Khamzat Chimaev accuses Sean Strickland of bringing gun to gym. UFC middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev recently dropped some shocking claims about his history with Sean Strickland, dating back to their old training days. Strickland, who's currently suspended by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for his role in a post-fight brawl earlier this year, isn't exactly known for playing nice in the gym. The former champion had previously accused Chimaev of being a reckless training partner who intentionally targeted less experienced fighters. But Chimaev fired back with his own version of events during a recent appearance on the Badiv podcast. He revealed a wild story about how their beef originally started when they trained together at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas. According to Chimaev, the tension between the two wasn't about sparring etiquette. It stemmed from something entirely different, which set the tone for their ongoing feud. He said, "I don't know, when we used to train together, Strickland was normal. Well, one time I got angry with him and the next day he was walking around the gym with a gun. He thought I'd attack him. We had a group chat for our gym. There was one guy from Chechnya in it and Strickland wrote something like, 'I thought all Chechens are strong.' And I wrote him back, 'You're an American chicken, I'll beat you up.' He later said that I misunderstood him, that's all that really happened. I spoke English badly at that time and I couldn't tell you exactly what happened. He said something about Chechnya or something, so I immediately attacked him just in case." Khabib sends message to Islam ahead of UFC 322. Khabib Nurmagomedov isn't usually the emotional type, but he surprised fans today with a heartfelt message for his longtime friend and student, Islam Makhachev. The two have been inseparable since their early days training under Khabib's father, Abdulmanap, in Dagestan. Together, they rose to the top of the UFC lightweight division. After Khabib retired, Islam became champion and climbed to the #1 pound-for-pound spot. Now, at UFC 322 in Madison Square Garden, he's aiming to make history by challenging Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight belt, something even Khabib never did. If he wins, Makhachev will become the team's first double champ, and Khabib has a message for him to that end. The Eagle said, "So our whole lives went side by side in the hall, helping each other to become better and stronger. Soon we will follow the historic second belt, and in the meantime the work continues. 33 days before the historical fight in Madison Square Garden. See you guys in New York." Islam Makhachev is ready to go. Will Islam Makhachev become a double champ? Alex Pereira calls out Magomed Ankalaev for excuses. With Makhachev vacating his lightweight belt, and Magomed Ankalaev losing his light heavyweight title to Alex Pereira at UFC 320, Dagestan currently has no UFC champions. After the UFC 320 loss, Ankalaev's camp claimed his training camp had been a mess because of a broken rib, but Pereira wasn't having any of it. On the ConnectCast podcast, he brushed off those excuses without hesitation.
Tinha estreado no UFC. Sempre me machuquei. E lesão, cara, é a mesma coisa. O Ankalaev fala agora de costela quebrada ou não sei o que ele tinha. Cara, se pegar as minhas lesões hoje, lutando com ele, cara, ele vai se sentir um merda. Ele não vai voltar mais pra lutar. Esse cara tava assim. Puta, o que eu tô fazendo? O que eu tô fazendo dentro dessa organização? Deixa eu sair fora. Ele vai pedir as contas, velho. Eu nem vou falar.
Ankalaev probably won't get an immediate shot at a trilogy with Pereira. He'll need to pick up at least one solid win before earning that opportunity again. Meanwhile, Pereira has his eyes set on bigger challenges. He's hinted at moving up to heavyweight, where potential blockbuster fights against stars like Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones could be waiting for him. He's particularly interested in the Jones fight.
Por que Jon Jones e não Tom Aspinall no seu planejamento de carreira?
Cara, eu sempre falei dessa luta, né? De estar no peso pesado. Eu, com vontade, depois eu falo, não, vou ficar nessa minha categoria e tal. Mas aí eu falei, 38 anos, entendeu? Tô pensando também, né, na minha carreira, né? Eu acho que essa é a luta para acontecer.
Essa é a luta, concordo.
Who do you think will win between Jon Jones and Alex Pereira? Jorge Masvidal protects Hasbullah during brawl. Former UFC star Jorge Masvidal recently found himself in the middle of a wild scene while filming the Russian version of The Ultimate Fighter, called Alf Reality. But things quickly spiraled out of control when a massive brawl broke out in the house, after one of the fighters tried to stir up old beef with Diaz over his past feuds with Khabib Nurmagomedov and Khamzat Chimaev. Diaz ended up leaving the show after that incident, and producers brought in several former UFC names, including Masvidal and Yoel Romero, to keep the series going. In a newly surfaced video from the set, another chaotic fight broke out between contestants as Jones, Masvidal, Romero, and Hasbullah watched from a nearby seating area. The scuffle got intense fast, with the fighters crashing toward where the group was sitting. Realizing Hasbullah could get caught in the crossfire, Masvidal instantly stepped in front of him to shield the internet star from any stray punches. Romero quickly followed, trying to separate the brawlers, and Jones jumped in to calm things down. Nate Diaz reveals scariest opponent he faced in the UFC. Nate Diaz has never been one to back down from a fight. Over the years, he and his crew have been involved in countless brawls with different groups, often for the simplest reasons. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. If there's an issue, the Stockton legend is always ready to scrap. Even in recent times, like after UFC 318 in July, Diaz made it clear he still sees himself as the real BMF champion, a title he first fought for back in 2019 but never won. Despite his fearless reputation, Diaz recently revealed that there was one opponent who genuinely intimidated him. During an appearance on Jake Shields' Fight Back podcast, Diaz revealed the guy who sent shivers down his spine.
But for me though, like being Gomi, that was the scariest fight of my life.
Remember that.
And that's why it happened so perfect for me.
Right.
Not to, he's older and not peaking like he was, because I watch him, I base a lot of my fighting off of him.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you're the guy. I'm having a hard time sleeping tonight.
Yep.
You might just get up because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Frankie Edgar slams shady Bare Knuckle FC. Frankie Edgar has made it clear that his time with Bare Knuckle FC is officially over. The UFC Hall of Famer and former lightweight champion was planning a comeback through bare knuckle boxing after retiring from MMA in 2022. Edgar, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year, was scheduled to face fellow UFC veteran Jimmy Rivera at BKFC 82 on the undercard of Mike Perry versus Jeremy Stephens. However, things didn't go as planned as Edgar was pulled from the fight due to medical reasons, but according to him, there's a lot more to the story than what was made public. On a recent episode of the Champ and the Tramp podcast, Edgar opened up about the situation.
And not to mention that I passed every single one of my medicals. I did a whole ton of medicals.
I mean, I talk to you pretty much every day, and
Right.
it was a little annoying to you that you were running around
Everywhere,
all
bro.
over the fucking
Every
state
day I was going to medical. So
doing a
I'm
shitload of
gonna tell you,
medicals.
I got a physical, I got a blood test, I got an eye exam. Then I had to go to 3 different heart things. I went to a stress test, an echo test, and a carotid test. 3 different appointments. Then I also went to a neurologist. I got an MRI and an MRA. Now every single doctor said my stuff was great.
Eye doctor, too,
All right,
right?
eye doctor, yep, eye doctor as well. Now, the promotion was trying to say they weren't getting my medicals, which is bullshit. They got all my medicals.
Edgar didn't hold back when explaining what really happened behind the scenes. He claimed that BKFC actually paid him to keep things quiet and avoid a legal battle after pulling him from his scheduled debut.
BKFC had something. Like, I was like, wow, this is pretty entertaining. They got something. But not if they treat fighters like this, bro.
Agreed.
Because I'll tell you what, fighters out there, beware. You know what I mean? And listen, they're giving me something pretty much so I don't sue them for the whole purse, right? That's really what's going down. You know?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's where
Frankie Edgar isn't alone in criticizing BKFC. Former 2-division UFC champion Henry Cejudo has also taken shots at the promotion, bluntly calling it a last resort for fighters.
Jesus, bro, last resort. I'd rather get into stripping than to do BKFC, bro.
Whoa, wait.
Facts.
What?
Facts. On my life.
On your life, you would rather shake.
Life.
You'd rather be out there shaking ass than fighting?
If all these female UFC fighters could do
UFC analyst thinks Petr Yan has no chance against Merab Dvalishvili. One respected UFC coach and analyst isn't buying the idea of Petr Yan turning the tables on Merab Dvalishvili. Dana White recently confirmed that Dvalishvili will defend his bantamweight crown against Yan at UFC 323 on December 6. If he wins, Merab will break the record for most title defenses in a single year, having already beaten Umar Nurmagomedov, Sean O'Malley, and Corey Sandhagen in 2025. Sharing his thoughts on the matchup, Din Thomas acknowledged Yan's elite skill set and experience, but he also admitted that he doesn't see the former champ figuring out the machine.
It's a different level of human being. And I don't know how he gets beat right now. I think Petr Yan is a great fighter. You know, he's got so many tools and he's so good at what he does. but I don't see what he can do differently to stop Merab. Like, everybody's tried that style. Stop the shot, stop the takedown. And you just get punched in the face. And then when you try to punch back, you get taken down anyway. I don't know what they do differently.
Yan and Dvalishvili first crossed paths in the main event of a Las Vegas fight night back in 2023. That night, Merab's trademark pressure and non-stop takedowns smothered Yan, leading to a clear unanimous decision victory. His constant pace not only shut down Yan's offense, but also opened up opportunities on the feet. The big question now is whether Yan can make the right adjustments the second time around. Dvalishvili, meanwhile, has been winning over critics with each dominant performance. Even Dana White, who once questioned his style, has now become one of his biggest admirers.
Give me a minute to warm up to Merab. I'm very warm now. I love that mentality. He wants to be the first guy to ever, defend his title that many times in a year. If you look at what he's gone out and done and how he's proven himself as a fighter and as a world champion, it's impressive.
Dana White refuses to comment on Conor McGregor's suspension. UFC President Dana White kept things brief when questioned about Conor McGregor's recent 18-month suspension. McGregor was handed the ban for violating the UFC's anti-doping policy, with the suspension backdated to September 20, 2024. This means he'll be eligible to return on March 20, 2026, just in time to potentially feature on next summer's much-hyped UFC White House card. The planned event has stirred plenty of conversation in the MMA world, with fans curious about everything from the logistics to the star-studded lineup. McGregor himself has been vocal about his excitement to fight there, especially as he's leaned more into politics recently. When asked for his thoughts, White gave a typically tight-lipped response.
We're not even looking at the White House card till February. We have literally not talked about one fight on the White House card yet. We won't even start till February. Okay. And then whether he's available or not, talk to Nowitzki about that.
Reinier de Ridder warns Paulo Costa. UFC middleweight contender Reinier de Ridder recently addressed Paulo Costa after confirming that talks for a fight between them had fallen through. De Ridder commented on Costa's reputation and skill set, acknowledging that the Brazilian remains a top name in the 185-pound division. While he respected Costa as a competitor, De Ridder made it clear that he's focused on the opportunities that make the most sense for his career trajectory.
He put so he was up first. We were in conversation with him first. But he put up too many stipulations. He wanted a catch weight. He wanted 3 rounds instead of 5. So he said, if you don't want it, then you don't get it. And then we moved on to Brendan.
Gable Steveson eyeing UFC debut at White House. MMA newcomer and amateur wrestling superstar Gable Steveson has his sights set on a massive stage for his potential UFC debut. Steveson revealed that he'd love to compete on next summer's planned UFC White House card, possibly alongside his training partner Jon Jones. After his WWE run didn't unfold the way he hoped, Steveson shifted gears toward MMA, a move many fans had been anticipating. With a decorated amateur wrestling resume and elite athleticism, he's now training under the guidance of some of the best in the sport, including Jones. When asked about a possible debut at the historic White House event, Steveson made it clear he's ready for the challenge and excited by the idea of making his UFC arrival on such a grand platform. He said, "Man, that'd be incredible. I try not to think too big, but sometimes it's just big moments come and you can't deny them. And I think having an Olympic champion, an American person, a guy that's going to go out there and represent the White House on the biggest stage possible, it's me. And I think it could be really nice. The fact that you even asked me, it is cool. It sent a chill on me. I think having a Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira live in the main event, Jon will be ready because I know he will, and he'll be with me. So we'll make sure resting is good, we'll make sure everything else is good, and he'll take care of the rest. But I think in my terms, man, fantastic opportunity. To have me being younger, saying that you can be on the same card, and not just any card, a White House card, that is a once-in-a-lifetime event with Jon Jones being the main event against Alex Pereira. I couldn't even fathom. It's insane." So that wraps up today's top MMA stories. If you've got thoughts on any of the topics we covered, drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we've got plenty more MMA and boxing stories coming your way, and you won't want to miss a single update.